I'm just warning the rest of them that we're live before I turn, so I can turn your mics on, just in case you want to change the topic. Yeah.
Ring a bell.
It wasn't that bad.
It's
It was
really
the nose that hurt.
Yeah,
I
don't.
dip every time I do it. It's horrible. It's
When I first had the mine was self-administered, the first one, and she said, "Do you know where your tonsils are?" And I said, "No." She says, "I don't." I said, "I don't have tonsils." And she says, "Do you know where they were?" I said, "No, because I was 2 when they were taken out." And I have no adenoids up my nose either.
Oh.
So I'm really susceptible to things like colds and flu, anything that gets in through the nasal or the mouth cavities, that I'm really susceptible. But I can never get tonsillitis because I don't have tonsils. But no, the one in the back of the throat was all right. The one up my nose,
My nose hurt for about 2 hours afterwards.
Really? See, I don't bother with the nose one because it's just like it's done. But the back of the throat, I've got a really bad gag reflex.
oh yeah.
I was no good for making money in my early days.
You guys are talking just about the test, right?
That tree much is brilliant.
The one up my nose made my eyes water and everything. This is
Subtle hints.
This is you two could run the hairy hobgoblin. I think you could both both get stocks and shares in it. Right, we are back live. We are back live, so hopefully we are not going to crash or disappear or anything. We're having a weird set of moments. I think it's because Medivac is streaming in live from the Seychelles today. I think there's a bit of a wind going, but you know, with the internet connection may vary slightly, but he's with us, and we're very grateful that he's broken off from his holiday. So if you see a few seagulls fly by, then you'll know that's where he is. So yeah, hello everyone and welcome. Welcome to I put in the title Mists and Shadows Part 2, but it's not. It's Mists and Shadows Part 3. Mists and Shadows, by the way, is what the adventure's called. Not that you have any clue at the moment why it's called Mists and Shadows, but maybe things will become apparent later on. So yeah, so we're still in the hairy hobgoblin. We did move outside in the road last adventure, then back into the hairy hobgoblin. So we're back in a hairy hobgoblin, and the party have got some really interesting decisions to make. So we'll look forward to that. But before we do this or that, I'm going to allow the players an opportunity to say who they are and who they will be playing tonight. And as always, Mr. Pickles, we come to you first. Go.
Well, I am Mr. Pickles, and I play Bartleby Fumus, which is our team's theist. He serves Amriel, the light moon goddess, and brings through her some powers that are able to heal people of their injuries, of disease and poisons. He can also rid other people of their fatigue or prevent them from getting fatigued, giving hope and energy to people. He has a number of small prayers like calming and shocking sinners who might be trying to hurt people. But other than that, Bartleby doesn't really have any ability to fight people. He's been known to do negative damage with his wooden club that's more for balance than anything. But otherwise, he has a lot of knowledge of the monsters and the history of the local area. And that's mostly what he brings to the party. He's the heals guy. And with that, I'll throw the microphone as far as I can to Medivac.
Why, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Medivac, and I play Hazra Khan. He's a nomad from the northern steppes of Odesk. He's a hunter-tracker, stealthy type person. He is a member of the Brotherhood, who is someone who keeps track of biomes and what changes them, how people affect those things, and maintaining a very strict balance on nature in a sense. He's very at home in the wilderness. He absolutely, well, he doesn't absolutely hate it. He's very uncomfortable with being in cities. He's completely fish out of water. He does do his best to kind of be ordinary there in a sense, but that's only for his friends, and he tries to help out. He's very socially awkward. Yeah, and that's really him. He likes he's got a short spear and a scimitar, and he's pretty damn good with them. Yeah, with that, I shall pass on to Longshanks CPG.
Thank you very much, Moneyback. Hi guys, I'm Longshanks CPG, and tonight, as always, I'm playing the noble character Hengist. He's a warrior from across the sea from a noble house, but they don't really know about his noble house here. But never fear, he's joined the noble house Galot, which aims to look after the people of Lindo. They give arms and armor to the town guards. They look after the blacksmiths, the toolsmiths, general crafters in the town of Lindo, and inventors and that sort of thing. He is slightly above average height, slightly above average weight, but he makes up for that in raw killing power. As he is a warrior. He fights with a hand and a half sword, usually using it two-handed, also called a longsword. Fights in heavy plate armor, but it's iron, not steel, but meh, it looks cool because it's all enameled in green and it's got his family's crest of a horse on it. He lives in a mansion in Lindo, has a number of houses, well, not a number of houses, a number of household staff. He has a cook, a butler, probably got a few other staff that he doesn't see or know about because they just go off and about their business and do things, but he's not snooty with it. He's still very down to earth, or he tries to be down to earth, despite the fact that most of the nobles in Lindo are quite snooty and they look down on their nose on everyone. He's the oldest serving member of the party, both literally and figuratively. He also has very good relationships with everyone. Cyrus is starting to see the benefits of having Cyrus in the party now. Cyrus has proved himself to be a capable combat person. Social side of him, not so much. Picking fights with everyone, not so much. But we shall see how that relationship blossoms, because if it can get anywhere as good as Hazra's and Bartleby's with Hengists, this party will be unstoppable. And with that, I shall pass it on to the one, the only, Captain Kangaroo.
Thank you for the introduction. Everyone, I'm Captain. I'm Captain Kangaroo. As you could tell, I am not Australian, so why is my name Captain Kangaroo? I don't know. I played Cyrus alias tonight. Cyrus is the sorcerer, the offensive sorcerer of the group. He also was able to help the group in creating buffs. They kind of help them in combat and everything. He can hold himself in physical combat and magical combat. Really, he's kind of just like all over the place and fitting kind of different molds for the group. You can really tell he's like the peanut butter of the shit sandwich. But I think today we'll see if Cyrus isn't just always an asshole. Maybe Cyrus might put his pride in the back seat, or come up with better ideas to not always be the adversary to everyone. We'll find out though, because no plans yet, but it's improv, right? From there, I'm going to pass the mic to the GM of the group, inwils.
Thank you very much. Just to let you know, Captain Kangaroo, your internet connection didn't look too good to start off with, but I think it's improving. We were just talking in the chat. You look a bit like a flicker book. With this flicking from page to page. But when you started to speak, it was perfect. So hopefully you've got the hamsters running around the wheels a lot quicker in order to keep the data bit rate up there, so things look positive.
We'll find out. Otherwise I have to restart my computer, I guess.
Yeah.
I told you to invest in the premium carrots, Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah.
For the hamsters.
I should invest in GameStop stocks and buy better computers.
Yeah. So the party are enjoying an interesting situation in Lindo. They've been around, they've been out and about adventuring, and when they came back, their favourite haunt, the hairy hobgoblin, had gone into demise. It was empty, the food was lacking even more than it did before, the beer was warm and flat, and things were not going well at all. Contrary to this, a complete opposite, there had been a new tavern opened on the opposite side of the street called the Sniffling Boar. This tavern is booming in business. There's people lining up at the entrance to gain access to the tavern, and it seems to be a very popular place both with the townsfolk themselves and the nobility on Noble Hill where Hengist lives. And there was some people saw very familiar faces within the tavern. Cyrus's long friend from the Red Order, Melanie, has been seen in there. There have been people from the guards have been seen in there. Hengist even saw the wife of the ex-leader of the House of Galot, Harmony-Leigh, in there, or queuing up to go in there. Everything seems to be going really well for that tavern, but really badly for the hairy hobgoblin. And Basil Earless, who is the tavern owner, is very down on his luck. He's lost his maze. It looks like he's going to lose the business, and it looks like he will not be able to pay the rent to the hairy hobgoblin, and in which case, sadly, its doors will close for the final time. But if you are worried about that, viewers, then don't worry, because I'll find another tavern that looks almost like identical to this one that the players can frequent still. Anyway, there was some other sidelines that actually happened last time, which almost like threw some spanners into the works. Harmony-Leigh was seen and trying to gain access to the Sniffling Boar, and then Bartleby and Hengist were summoned to Harmony-Leigh's accommodation. And when they got there, Bartleby had a look using his medical and healing knowledge and decided that poor Harmony-Leigh had limited amount of time before she would pass into the other world. It looked like she was dying, and it would be a matter of days, hours, maybe minutes before she actually passed. Why this was, nobody actually knows at this moment in time. The other thing that happened, was Hengist was rummaging around behind the Sniffling Boar and found some rats. He found a bundle of clothes round there that had been sort of like bundled up and left there. And he also found some rats that had their throats slit from one side to the other, and obviously in some kind of ritualistic way, which was very unusual. The final thing that happened, or to put all things together, was that the Bartleby got a letter from an unknown person who wanted to meet. The party set up a clever meet with Hazra and Cyrus up on the local roof, providing support just in case anything would happen. And along came the party's friend and enemy, Annalin. Now, Annalin is an alchemist that the party has had interactions with before, and it was during that he proved himself both an asset and a right pain. He seems to have very different moral values than some people, but at the same time he seems to be likable, and he hasn't killed anybody, or hasn't killed anybody that we are aware of at this moment in time. Annalin talked to Bartleby and Hengist and basically said that he would be willing to come back to the hairy hobgoblin after he'd left with an altercation with Cyrus if certain conditions were met. He needed some boar dung from out in the forest, which he mentioned that Hazra, the keen tracker, would be able to find and bring back. And he also wanted a public and written apology from Cyrus. I can see my streams working, so I don't know. OBS keeps shutting down, so I might have to do a reboot to see what actually happens if it goes again. But we will see. We will see. I can actually... I don't know how much people are hearing or not. Our connection, the internet connection, is fine. It just seems to be OBS live at the moment. So yeah, and if you remember the end of the part, what happened at the end was that people were discussing it, and the actual plan relied on Cyrus and Hazra, whose both opinions were not on your Nelly, with this dishonest son of a I don't know, sour cow, Annalin, who, as they quite rightly pointed out, had been rather devious in the past and had not actually, shall we say, been completely honest. And so he is, quite rightly so, being suspected of quite a lot of underhand dealing. And yeah, and it was actually with Harmony-Leigh that we left it last time, if you remember. So Bartleby and Hengist, you went off to Harmony-Leigh's house and you were there, and this was your diagnosis, Bartleby, when we left it there. So just so we don't sort of like rush on too quickly, is there anything that Bartleby and Hengist would like to do while you're still at Harmony-Leigh's? We can either take it that you've left the room or you're still in the room doing your diagnosis, whichever you would prefer to do.
I mean, after Bartleby gets that diagnosis, he's going right to call up Amriel and bring her down to heal, to rid Harmony-Leigh of this malady.
Yeah, so go for it. Don't forget your luck points will have refreshed, but no magic points will not have. But if you take a rest sooner or later, then it will happen. Yeah. Okay, then. So you call down Amriel's light, and it sort of like bathes the bed where Harmony-Leigh rests and resides. And the first thing that you become very much aware of is that she appears not to have any disease, as what you can tell. It almost like seems her life force, her life itself is becoming just a minor flicker. It's almost as if there seems to be no illness there, no disease there, and no poison, but it's almost like her whole body is just degenerating and slowly disappearing. You do get from your spell as you cast it that there is something sinister going on here. Something maybe almost like supernatural, or maybe to do with sorcerer magic or something like that. There's definitely no involvement with divine magic at all here. So there's nothing like evil theists, sending out dangerous illnesses or anything like that. It might be sorcerer magic or mystical magic or even animist magic, but that's out of your sphere of influence at the present moment in time. But there's definitely something unusual going on. It's almost as if something's tapping her, as in draining her. And she seems to be very quickly, even through the small period of time that you're here, you notice that she's draining away minute by minute, second by second.
In that case, Bartleby is going to take a step back, give his puzzled look of understanding that, and I'm going to call upon Amriel to dismiss any magics here that are latching onto her. rather than using witch sight to confirm that, I'm just going to go on the women belief. This dismiss magic here.
Yeah.
If I may. Goddess, help me!
Yeah, and you call down Amriel's light to dismiss the magic that might be around her, and there seems to be no magic. It's the best way I can probably describe it to you is that you figure there's almost like a dark parasite that's almost like living off her. You can't see anything. There's nothing. I mean, witch sight might produce something, but this is not your field of magic at all. So whether or not it would actually show up, when you're trying to look at the divine magic, you're not too sure. But there's definitely it's definitely not a disease, and it's definitely not magical. There's not a spell on her. There's nothing that seems to be cast on her, but it's almost like you get this feeling when you try to dismiss it, that there's almost like a void inside her, a very black and very black void hole that seems to be almost like in the center of her body, drawing the life force in. And make a willpower check for me, please.
Could I take a point of luck and switch that?
Yes, by all means. So you as you sort of like try to dismiss the magic, and this sort of like comes apparent to you, this hole, this black void, in some kind, like a parasite, some kind of magical threshold, some kind of magical plane there. You almost like seem to become attracted to it. It's almost like mesmerizing, that deep blackness, and you seem to, the more you look at it, the more you're drawn to it, and you sort of like notice that you're just gazing down into this black void, and you actually snapped out of it by Hengist as well, because Hengist, you sort of like see Bartleby slowly starting to fall towards the bed, and you suddenly think he's going to literally end up face planting.
So yeah, Hengist will have sort of like put an arm out to try and catch Bartleby.
Yeah, and you can probably just put it
not catch, but put a hand on his shoulder to hold him firm.
Yeah, and as sure as you feel that, Bartleby, that sort of like takes you out of the mesmerization, and sort of like brings you back to this plane of existence, and that's when your spells is sort of like finished and dissipates, and you're back just looking at Harmony-Leigh, almost like drawn, haggard, skeletal, in the bed. And she's Hengist, she certainly does not look anything like her former self. And one of the maids sort of like is over in the corner, and she's been whimpering for some time, and she sort of like lifts her head and dabs her eyes, and she sort of like looks at you, Bartleby, realizing that you're a man of religion and probably possessing the powers of healing, and she just says to you, "Will my lady die?"
We ought to send for the higher priests of the church. This is right away, if you can. It's a matter of urgency.
But can you not save her?
I said now! Bartleby shouts.
And the poor maid sort of like bursts into tears and runs to the door, and you hear her sort of like going and down the stairs, and there seems to be some kind of commotion down the stairs, and a rather upright gentleman comes back up the stairs who seems to be, you would recognise Hengist probably at the chief butler or something like that. And he sort of like comes in, and he's very formal and to the point, as if emotion doesn't have any place in the situations like this. And he sort of like says, "I have sent a boy to the church."
Thank you. Hopefully he will be swift enough to bring the high priest here. This is beyond my capabilities.
If he runs as fast as he avoids work, I am sure he'll be back within a few minutes. If not sooner. Is there anything that you need?
I can't think of anything right now. Other than the higher priests of Amriel, they'll know how to solve this problem.
Okay, so there seems to be some delay now before, because if you remember, Noble Hill's right the way over on one side of Lindo, so the stable hand or the young lad are going to have to go right the way over to the other side to get the priest. And time passes, and the only thing that you actually notice,
You're cured.
and that'll be it. Right.
Cyrus is just going to be burning the city down right now. He just got bored and he's just playing with fire, and then he's had, you know, when you've had slightly too much to drink and you've got your elbow resting on the edge of the table.
And the fire starter. Twisted fire starter.
And your elbow just suddenly slips off the table. He's just done that and chucked a fireball in the corner.
And then
which
that's
is
it.
Full of
But
storm.
the entire city. You know, there's not a lot of alleyways in the city, I don't think so. Just saying.
Right.
Very fire safe.
Just adjusting Longshanks.
Just a lot of backdraft.
That's a good movie, that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's good. Okay, so we're going to give it one last chance, and if everything crashes again, then that's it. We are not coming back. Okay, ever. No, so we will be back next week, but we'll call it at that point. Okay, so yeah, I've done a complete restart, and Captain Kangaroo's now on his PC rather than his laptop, and he's eating something really nice and swigging alcohol. So yeah, so Hengist and Bartleby, you're at Harmony-Leigh's abode in the bedroom in her boudoir, and if you remember, there was a clatter outside as a carriage arrived, and Bartleby, you do know the priests and the high priest above you. You don't think it will be the high priest of your order that actually comes out to a cry like this. She's far too important. It's probably be some of the lackeys, some of the priests, or even slightly just one higher than you may arrive, and then that'll be it.
So not be. This is the leader of the noble house Galot, of one of the most powerful houses in Lindo.
There's sort of like a rap at the front door that you hear in the distance. Are you two staying in the room, or are you leaving the room?
I feel it would be improper to leave while I'm watching over her health, I guess.
I guess it's probably started pacing next to Bartleby by now.
Yeah, and they're sort of like
perfectly in step.
You're waiting sort of like outside the room, and there's the you notice that over the landing, down into the hallway, you can see that there's a sniffling maid that you shouted at beforehand, Bartleby, and she's still crying and whimpering away, and there's a rather rotund, bustly, what appears to be some kind of a cook with her arm round her, and they seem to be muttering about men in general and don't take any notice of them and how nasty they can be. And what appears coming through the door, followed by his two acolytes and the two people who accompany him everywhere is one of the lesser priests of the House of Amriel. He seems to be in his normal robes. His hair looks slightly disheveled, and he seems to be completely out of place. He seems to be quite, as you know, you've seen him before, he's quite elderly, and his sermons tend to be rather long and not that exciting at all. And he's sort of like, he doesn't stride, he more sort of like wanders in, and the butler greets him and he says, I think there's been some emergency, some life and death situation that I've been called towards. And the butler says, oh, yes, my lord. The lady of the house seems to have been taken ill. Taken ill? With what? Has she got indigestion or something like that? Well, I think she's actually... you might want to ask your fellow priest upstairs. Fellow priest? Is there a priest here already? Well, there seems to be a priest upstairs with his bodyguard. I think it is. I'm not too sure. Oh, up those stairs. And he sort of like looks behind at the two acolytes who seem to be carrying a variety of pestle and mortars and books, etc. And he sort of like starts to come up the stairs, and he sort of like looks up at you and sort of like says, Bartleby, apparently there's a priest here.
Yes, I think they may have erroneously thought that was me. But
you're not a priest.
No, I'm not. I'm just an initiate, as you know. I think they got confused. They're not of the church, but there are matters more important than myself here. Harmony-Leigh is dying, and I needed to call on somebody of greater power within the church, such as yourself, because I could not cure any disease. I could not dismiss any magics, and I think...
Well, of course you can't. You're an initiate. You need to be a priest to do that sort of thing. It's not very good, Master Bartleby, that you've been pretending to be a priest. This will not go down well at your next performance management meeting. I think, masquerading as something that you're completely not will not be the best thing around at all.
Hengist whispers to Bartleby, you're not a priest?
So where is this dying woman?
Upstairs. I try and lead him as best I can to the door of the room.
You sort of like try to get. He goes, get off me! And he sort of like heads up and says, Bartleby, you are no longer needed here, and take your lackey of a bodyguard with you. And
understood.
And
Thank you, sir.
the sort of like the waiter, the butler, sort of like walks past and sort of like gives you a rather stern look. He says, I thought you were a priest. And they sort of like carry up the stairs, and you hear the butler says, oh, just to the door on your left, sir, there. Just, oh, yes. And he sort of like opens the door, and goes in, and his acolytes go in with him, and the butler goes to go in and says, no, wait. You are not allowed to see the mysteries of Amriel as she descends from the skies onto this unfortunate woman. Please wait outside. And he goes in, and the acolytes sort of like look at him, and the doors are shut. Yeah, what would you both like to do?
Well, the higher priest told me that my duties here are done, so he's got this covered. Amriel doesn't fail. Hengist, I think it's time for us to return to our friends.
And you sort of like you both walk out the room, out through the hallway towards the door. And just as you go through the door, the rather bustly woman, the larger than life cook, sort of like is comforting the poor young maid, and to her ample bosom. And she sort of like looks at you, and as you go out, Bartleby, and she says, shame on you! Shame! and pats the poor girl's head and sort of like says, "Come on, my dear, just ignore men. Men are like this. It doesn't matter what kind of men, whether not men of the cloth or men of the blade. They are just like this. Come on, I will get you a nice warm cup of milk fresh from the teat of the cow." And they sort of like take her off, and there's a rather out of breath young stable lad that says, "Evening, sirs," as you sort of like leave Harmony-Leigh's abode. Where would you like to go? Are you all planning to meet back in the Hairy Hobgoblin? Is that the plan?
It is our headquarters.
Yes.
Or
That's where we'd be going next.
do you want to leave it the night and for the next morning when you actually all arrive?
Preferably, Hengist would like to meet tonight.
Cyrus is probably still in the Hairy Hobgoblin drinking what is left of the barrels. I would have thought, and Hazra will Hazra be with Cyrus, or will Hazra retire to his small cottage?
No, I think Hazra would be with Basil and Cyrus because he's built up this. Basil's the one person in Lindo that he's grown accustomed to, and he does trust, and he doesn't want to see Basil's livelihood go down the drain. So, I mean, Hazra does have a bit of money put aside, as you know. So he's toying with the idea of maybe
being the new
investing.
Proprietor.
No, well, possibly, who knows? But Hazra doesn't like this sort of thing. But anyway, Hazra will be at the inn. He's going to mull over a few things in his mind in this horrible concrete place that they are.
Yeah, and so Hengist and Bartleby, you get back to the Hairy Hobgoblin where Cyrus and Hazra are still mulling over their wine and ale and generally just chatting now and again as you come back. And Basil does his best to almost like burst into action as you come through the door, but then seeing that it's just you, both of you, and there's not a horde or throng of people coming in either, he sort of like settles back down and sort of like continues to wipe the inside of a tankard with his apron as you both come in and take up your pews where you once sat before you left.
All right, as they approach, Cyrus is going to look up. So what's the plan?
The plan?
The plan.
Well,
What's the plan? What
Oh,
are we
you're
gonna do?
concerned about Harmony-Leigh. Yeah, no, I think she'll be okay. Don't worry.
No, who? No.
The leader of House Galot, Cyrus.
Yeah. What we just left
Who
for
else?
2 hours to do?
I honestly thought you guys were going to like burn down the place across the street. I didn't think that.
Burn?
Or not like on purpose. Like it'll be like, oh, I tripped over a lantern and oh, it's on fire. That kind of thing.
That
I'd
does
be
seem
Now, wasn't
shocked
the
if
plan-
Bartleby ever did that, or even contemplate.
Or
about
poison a few,
I mean, I was thinking of
customers. I don't.
getting us into. Hengist will pause in that moment of thought, turn to see if he can see Basil lean slightly further in, and then say, "The Sniffling Boar tonight," so we can have a look around
I agree.
using my status.
Yeah. I think we should all have a reason why we're there and reason why we should be allowed inside. They're not going to allow me inside because I think everyone I hate somehow managed to sleep and drink in the same place. But so
That could be anybody in Lindo, though. But to be fair about
the most popular place in town is full of my enemies.
So what does
Crazy.
that make Cyrus? Oh, no, I'm not going to say that.
The shift in the dichotomy of the world. All right. So the plan is we should all have reasons to go in there. You want to, Hengist, you because something about status or whatever. But Hazra, he's gonna be my ticket in. Hazra needs to open up his personal business of supplying game to eat for businesses across Lindo. So Hazra will walk in and then show what game he's able to catch to see if maybe he can create a business deal with them. I'm going to use a little bit of mumbo jumbo, and I'm going to essentially find my way to helping him do that. You might not know my abilities, but my ability, you will see me, but you won't recognize it's me. If that makes sense. So we'll work on that. We'll figure that out as we get closer. Bartleby, how are you gonna get inside?
Bartleby is my guest.
I'm based on what members of my church said last time I was standing within feet of the Sniffling Boar. I think my presence might be that of a sore thumb. Very obvious, very out of place. People see me and think, why is a priest going to a bar of debauchery?
So then you can be the distraction. You go out there, you create an entire thing right outside the front door, create an entire, anti-party and anti-fun time sermon.
Is that what you think the church is about? I'll tell you, nobody parties more with more fun than priests of Tamriel.
Yeah, you guys sound like you're a thrilling bunch. Anyways, you just make a distract. You distract the bouncers away from the door to kick you away from the premises. At the same time, that's when we start something inside.
Bartleby, didn't some of the town guards invite you as their guest yesterday?
You can do that too.
That's right. I was overwhelmed with other feelings at the time that slipped my mind.
I mean, if you do not want to be my guest, you could always be their guest.
Well, I did promise them I would go in with them, so actually this sounds more like something that I'm going to need to do.
Guest.
Guest.
I believe I'm supposed to meet with them tonight.
All right.
Because they were like, Bartleby, we're going to be off next, or we're working tonight. We'll be off tomorrow and going in. So perhaps I'll just see if I can go in with them then.
All right. Well, that's the plan then. Tonight, we're going to infiltrate and cause chaos.
Define.
Or learn any new
chaos,
information. Though. Pardon?
Define this chaos, because I'm not on board with the poisoning of people.
No, we won't do the poisoning because I might accidentally drink my own drink,
Or the
forgetting
setting
that
alight.
I did it.
Because I don't want people burning
I
to death.
personally will not set alight anything.
Yeah, but
Amriel's promise, or whatever this means.
that does mean Amriel's promise. I'm your sorceress ways make me wonder if you're telling the truth here.
Oh, the truth is being told. Yeah. Anyways, so meet here tonight. Hazra, I'm gonna need your help. So let's catch some games, so that way you have a reason to walk in, and you're gonna be my assistant in my plan. Does that work out?
That is a most reasonable idea. I feel that you even though you are a little bit short sometimes with the views, that maybe this could be a plan that may work.
All right.
I will find some game for you, for a friend.
Sounds good. All right. Meet here at 8.
8 cockcrows.
8
I will be
cockroaches.
here.
Yeah. All plan?
Sounds like a plan. So, Hazra, do you want to roll your survival skill if you want to go out and catch some game? And we'll see. We'll use how successful the roll is to sort of like dictate how good they are. Ooh.
I will. No, yeah. It's a matter of pride, isn't it? He will use a point of luck and he will re-roll.
I've never seen that before.
Dismal. No, that's quite embarrassing. 1 point of a standard as well.
Oh,
There we go.
but that's good because the closer to 77, the better the quality. So,
Exactly.
so it looks like you sort of like got whatever you wish in the game department, so you can make a note of whatever you want, and you kill them very efficiently. So there's not sort of like half a leg missing or anything like that.
The breast being ripped apart.
Yeah, it looks very well presented, etc. So you've got those. Is there anything else that anybody needs to do before you head across the street into the Sniffling Boar?
I just need some rope and a blindfold.
Yeah, so I mean,
So I'll purchase that.
yeah. So the rope is quite easy to come by. Your blindfold would probably be more of a piece of cloth that you can tie around somebody's head and eyes if need be. Okay, and are you meeting? Does anybody else need anything else?
Would it be better if Hengist went in his armor, or if he went in the fine clothes that he went to that party in that one time?
Fine clothes.
It's up to you.
Okay, Hengist will probably go decked out in his finest clothes. He will have a dagger with him, but
Okay.
he would have left his sword behind and armor and all that sort of stuff.
Cool.
He's going to party and as undercover noble.
So, is a plan to meet someone somewhere apart from the hairy hobgoblin before? Are you going in together? Are you going in separately? What's going to be the plan once you? How are you going to approach the Sniffling Boar in order to gain access? Remember, there's 2 queues as well.
Hengist will be going in the fancy man's queue.
Right. So you and Bartleby.
If we're meeting up before, then that's fine. But once we've met up, if we are, then he'll be getting the fancy man.
So Hengist and Bartleby, you're together. Is that right?
No, Bartleby's going with the guards. He doesn't want to go with Hengist.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if I can find the guards, my friends.
Oh, right.
I'm mortally wounded.
Yeah, I would be as well.
We're all we're
Hengist-
the best
Hengist
friend
is
squad.
learning
They're
new
lesser friends.
Hengist is learning new sides of Bartleby tonight. He's learned Bartleby is not a priest, and now that he's got his friends,
Says who?
Bartleby's been lying to us for years.
Ariel seems to think I'm special.
Right. So
She doesn't really help a lot, does she?
so Bartleby, you're going to try to hook up with some guards to go in. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I did promise them. I think that I'd.
Yeah, I'm just going to pop a couple on so they can actually come along with you. Okay, then. So they will probably take you under their wing and decide, which they will decide which place to go in and where to go. So they can probably, you can probably just let them make that decision. And we know that Hengist, you'll probably come in from the rich end, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the end he'd like to try and get in through.
Brilliant. And then, so what about Hazra and Cyrus? How are you getting in? Which area? Tell me about that.
All right. So here's the plan. I'm going to bring Hazra. Is there an upstairs to the hairy hobgoblin?
Yes, it's got like rooms in.
Perfect. Because I know all of them are vacant. I'm going to ask Basil if we can rent a room for the day. Specifically, the room facing, like on the corner that's facing the other side of the street.
Yeah, and he's quite willing for that to happen, and he sort of like says that anything for his friends and only clients of the hairy
His
hobgoblin.
only source of income.
Yeah. He sort of like says, no, you don't need to pay, but any small amount that you actually have got will really help me on my way.
We'll give him like 5 silver pieces or something. Because this is really just to help him.
He
so,
sort of like looks at it, goes,
He's lucky.
thanks.
And where's the rest?
Anyways, so I'm gonna go up there with Hazra. And this is probably around like.
So Cyrus and Hazra are going upstairs. They've hired a room for.
The honeymoon suite you're talking about?
And Cyrus is carrying rope and a blindfold.
And I have meats to eat.
Lots of meat to eat. Anyways.
Yeah, and Hazra's got two rabbits round his neck.
On my feet.
Maybe we should pay off Basil a little bit more for his silence.
And Basil just sort of like carries on, sort of like.
Is Basil standing outside of the glass, going, "What the hell is going on?"
He just sort of like looks at them as they sort of like go upstairs together, and just sort of like says, "Oh no, have the room for the whole day if you wish."
Anyways, so
it's never take that. No.
Whatever happens, it's between you and Amriel, mate.
anyways, so the plan is we go up there. We're gonna get to a window that's aiming towards the front of the other bar.
Yeah.
All right, Hazra. I know you're not really magically literate. So
what do you mean magic? You know how I feel about these things.
All right, you don't know a lot about magic, correct?
It's scary as hell, man.
Okay.
I got Jamaica.
So what's gonna happen?
Have you gone back to the Caribbean in the background?
You've been teleported across the world, dude, in time. All right, so here's the thing. I am going to switch me into another person's body, and they're going to switch back to my body using magic, right? Now, I know it's hard for you to understand, but I need you to know that bouncer at the front door, he's going to be me very soon. And since he's going to be me, I need you to tie me up and blindfold me.
Can I just at this point say Hazra is nodding?
Yeah, but that's no idea what's being said.
So Cyrus wants you, and I'll let Medivac. I'll let you decide what Hazra thinks about this. I'm not going to intercede.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time this happened? And Hazra. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, I know it's gonna be hard for you to understand, but when I say now, not right now, but when I say soon, you're going to blindfold me and then tie me up to the dresser over here. And you're going to leave me, and then you're going to go across
Yeah,
street.
it'd probably be the bed.
Okay, the bed.
Basil doesn't
Whatever's
actually
the
have
heaviest
dressers.
thing, I don't know. Alright.
It's not that sort of a little cot, a wooden cot.
Yeah, again, Hazra's looking a little bit like he's nodding, and then he's looking at things around the room, and then he's looking back at Cyrus, and he's looking out the window, and then he looks back at Cyrus, and he's like, "So you are going to jump down there and
No, I'm not.
take
I'm
that
not
man
jumping.
there and bring him back here, and we tie him up with things?" Because why would you want me to blindfold you and tie you up and put you along the dresser?
Because he will be me.
Please mention possession. I think that would be a really sensible move at this point.
All right. You believe in spirits, correct?
Of course, spirits are among us all the time. These things, many times in my yurt, we have had the witch doctor come in and do these crazy things and be possessed by a spirit of an animal.
That's where I'm going to go. Okay. All right. So in a sec, I'm going to switch my spirit into that bouncer's body, and his spirit is going to come into my body. That means he will control my body with his spirit. Does that make sense?
It is, but why would you want that husk of a man down there when you are as
Because
you are
that's
here?
our way in. I'm as the bouncer, is going to let us in.
So you are going to be like, how can I say this for you town folk, where you get these fops that dress up as different, so like a man would dress up as a woman and pretend to be a woman on a stage of play.
Yeah, whatever Basil does on his spare time is like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So you are going to pretend to be the man in the street.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I'm going to be him. I'm going to pretend to be him.
But you still want me to tie you to
exactly
because
he'll be me.
He'll be then inside you.
Exactly.
So why don't I just tie you up now?
Because I need to see him to cast the spell.
Then you cannot see if I tie you up?
No, I need to see him with my eyes.
And
I won't tie your eyes up. Your eyes will be open. I won't tie your eyes up.
But he needs to not know where he's at.
Good.
Exactly. He needs. This is supposed to be something where hopefully he doesn't realize this entire time he's been locked up across the street.
I'm sorry, I'm still struggling. So why cannot I just tie you up and leave your eyes open?
Well, we're gonna do that, but then you're gonna blindfold me right when I say now.
That's fine. So if I tie you up now, it does not.
No, you tie me up now, so that way I won't. When
if
his
you
spirit's
say,
in me, I won't be a threat to you.
This is what I mean, because if his spirit.
Go ahead.
Oh, be quiet, watch. If his spirit possesses your body and reanimates it, I do not think you could stop. You are a large man, Cyrus.
No, I'm not. I'm a small man.
No, to me, you're a large man. I'm away from it.
I'm like if I were to put scale on 1 to 12, I'm probably like an 8 in size.
Literally smaller than Bartleby.
Really?
Oh, I thought he was really strapping and everything, and now he's just like.
No, I'm that. My real person is that. I'm playing a character.
I thought you're definitely bigger than Hasra, though, aren't you?
So you're the same size as the little. Hang on, how big was Gulliver?
Oh, I can tell you, because I've still got his character sheet.
Because if Cyrus is the same size as Gulliver,
can he carry a glaive?
So like glaive.
Gulliver was size 8.
Yeah,
he's the same size as Gulliver. So Cyrus is the same size as a little boy.
No, because it's the size 8 in men. All right, size 8 in men.
So hang on. Just complete sidebar. We have to go and see Sylvester now.
Can I just go?
So Cyrus can be called a little girl.
Do you know, if you saw like a pterodactyl or something flying over, you go, boss, pterodactyl, boss. No, that boss the plane. No? Okay, don't matter.
Do you want to know something?
Fantasy Island.
When I was out running the other day, I was trying to imagine what Sylvester McCoon would say to with Cyrus turned up, and I thought in my head he's going to say, "Oh, Gulliver, you look like you've grown," or something, and sort of like pretend that he thinks Cyrus is actually Gulliver. But now it fits in perfectly because it's just
Cyrus.
It's just going to be perfect.
Can I just let you know? So Hengist is about average, and his size 14.
Oh. Yeah, I'm going like I'm assuming like Cyrus is like Tom Cruise height.
I'm size 13, and I consider myself like thin-ish, tall and like a you know.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I'm a frail little priest at size 10.
Yeah. And you're a little cute boy.
It would explain his Napoleon complex, right?
Yeah. How'd you carry a glaive? Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It needs a large, 12-foot fucking glaive, or 6-foot glaive.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, I'll put you on detention, and we're fine. So yes, he Hazra's finally getting he's kind of getting his head around it. And he'll still tie up Cyrus first, but he will. So what is your command of when would I know to blindfold you? When this demon possesses your body?
I'm gonna shout shenanigans the second I cast it.
From your mouth, yeah?
Yeah, from my mouth. So you know, once after I say the word shenanigans, to blindfold me.
Right.
Also, since we're leaving my body, that's my possessed body up here, maybe give Basil a few extra silver to not come up here and check what's all the ruckus is about.
And when you do this, you want me to... I will go downstairs and come across the road to you, is that right?
Yeah, with the game. You're going to go to that bouncer over there and act like we have a pre-planned meeting.
We have an accord, yes.
Yeah.
But to be fair with Basil, I never brought the game in the front door. We'd always come in through the kitchen.
Well, this is your first time.
Oh, it's true.
You're here. This is your contract deal.
So-
I'm supposed to bring you. I'm supposed to lead you to the back room.
So just so you know, I've just been looking at the table, and a size of 8 in human height is between 151 and 155 centimeters, which
It's like 4'3", isn't it?
yeah, well, it's somewhere between under 4 foot or just over 5 foot.
Really?
Well,
I'm going just over 5.
so if you go for 155 centimeters, it's 5 foot 1 inch.
You know, back in the day, everyone was shorter anyway.
It's that 1 inch that
This
matters.
is a different time.
So Hengist is what's your size? What's
The
Hengist?
Hengist is 14.
Yeah.
And the average species size is 13. So Hengist is about 184, 185.
Yeah, so you're
centimeters.
about six foot,
So he's
just
just
over
over
6
6
foot.
foot.
I'm
about
178, which is just shy of 6 foot.
Yeah.
But my weight's only 88 kilograms, which is quite light.
Cyrus is like,
I know. Oh my goodness.
that's made my day, that.
No,
I'm not going to be able to use this.
Can we
at
buy
all.
Cyrus some high heels?
It gives me somewhere to rest my pint.
Oh, the number of times
Wait, I'm just waiting for Basil to shout, "No gnomes on the table!"
Yes.
it's going to be that
Scurry
time
on,
when
young man. Scurry on.
every time it's going to be every time anybody comes up to talk to Cyrus, it's going to be hello.
looking down.
Sorry, hello.
Do you know that thing where you knock at the door and you open the little hatch to look through?
Why do you think you can only drink so much before getting blackout drunk?
Do you have hairy toes? During the hole.
Do I have an affection for gold jewelry?
That's right. Oh, God.
Right, well, that's made my night. I have got so much interest now, so much interesting role playing that I could go.
What you call it? Is it Melody?
Yeah,
Lunar. What's she gonna say?
Melody is
taller.
Melody. Yeah, Melody is actually 5'8". So,
And she can grow to 5'9" if she wants to.
oh, that has made my night. Okay then. So, yeah. So, Cyrus, you will need both your hands. Well, at least one of your hands free to cast the spell in any case. So when you say shenanigans, then we'll assume that the spell is cast then, and then Hazra, you can burst into action to tie up the
Well,
Cyrus.
yeah. What Hazra will probably do is he'll pre-tie one arm, put a slip knot on the other one before it finishes. You can just yank it back into place, and
Good
then
idea.
tie him to whatever, and then he will quickly bang over a bag over his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it a bag that you've got or a blindfold?
No, it will be about easy. I'm not going to tie it. He goes, oh, let me do a knot on the back of the blindfold.
Yeah, back would make more sense.
He put a bag, he's got a bag from carrying his game.
Cool. So let's get that over. And is Hengist and Bartleby going in before all this happens or after?
Hengist is going in before.
Okay. And what about Bartleby?
He's going to join the queue before.
I don't really have a choice. I'm waiting for some friends.
Okay then. So let's get up to the point that everybody's just in, and then we'll take the break, and then we can start again afterwards when everybody is in. So Bartleby, let's get you in first. So you meet up with your guards, and the guards are ecstatic that you are actually coming out drinking with them, and they promise to be very virtual, and they sort of virtuous, and they sort of like laugh and say, yeah, don't worry, Bartleby, we'll be good, won't we? And they sort of like, they are super excited. They feel that, you know, that their best friend in the whole of Lindo is actually coming out with them, and they have sort of like this great excitement that they're sort of like they've put on their best outfits, and they're not dressed as guards. Some of them have even shaved, you know, to make sure that they look the part, and they sort of like herd you down the main street to the Sniffling Boar, and to your amazement, they approach from the southern side of it, so down the Poor line, and they seem to walk right through past all that, and they get up to the bar and the entrance, and one of the guards turns to you and just says, there's one moment, Bartleby, we got to make sure that, you know, they're ready for us inside. And one of the guards goes up, and there's some exchange happening between the guard himself and one of the bouncers. Do you want to carefully look at and see what's happening, or do you wish to look away and ignore?
I think I may as well take a risk.
And look?
And shoot a glance.
Okay then, so perception roll for me, please. Oh yeah, you see what's happening. There's definitely exchange of currency between the two, not raw currency, i.e. out coins, but seems to be an exchange of some kind of purse that seems to be full with what you assume to be silver or gems or something, and the guard sort of like weighs it up in his hand like that, and then tucks it inside his jacket, and sort of like nods to the guard, and the guard turns around to you and says, come on lads, and before you can even say anything, two of the guards sort of like lift you up or hurry you in arm in arm, and I'll move you across now to the Sniffling Boar. Now, please remember the Sniffling Boar is on the opposite side of to the hairy hobgoblin. Okay, and this is what it looks like. Can you see it?
Yeah, it looks strangely familiar. I feel almost at home.
Yeah, it's sort of like just round the opposite way, would you believe? And,
well, it's on the opposite side of the street.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You know, exactly, and
on this prefab building of Lindo.
Yeah, and that's and the guards sort of like hurry you over to a table, and there's drinks brought round, and they sort of like push in front of you this tankard of frothy liquid from a rather busty barmaid who sort of like comes over and says, oh, you're a new one, aren't ya? Haven't seen her. And one of the guards said, no, hands off Bartleby, he's a man of the cloth. Oh, well, I can soon get him out of that cloth if he needs, if you know what I mean. And she sort of like looks, you sort of like look quite startled. She says, don't worry, you won't be my first, and I doubt whether or not you'll be my last. And everybody laughs, and you're inside, Bartleby. It's airy, it's light, there's some music playing in the background, there's people dancing, there's drinks being brought here, then everywhere. It's absolutely, this is quite nice. You know, it looks very, you know, there's not too many, too much bare flesh on show. But, you know, you're over in the corner, then that's it. Now, Hengist, you come in next. And you come to the queue, and your queue moves quite quickly in any case. And you see Bartleby and the guard goes in, and then you are sort of like 2 down the line, and you hear some sniggering behind you. You sort of like take a look, and there's 2 sort of like young noble ladies in their finery, and you sort of like turn around and look at them, and this sort of like, "Hello, my lord. Hello. We're going in here as well." You do think that they might look slightly underage as you sort of like come back. It's a few minutes after Bartleby's gone in that the guards show you in. You can move yourself to a table of your choice, Hengist. As soon as you come in, somebody comes over and asks for your drink order. You probably won't be at a table by yourself. All the tables are full, but you can probably find a seat where you want to be.
The question I have before I move in, well, as I move in, Hengist will give his order, and it's quite a nice wine, and he asks for a flagon of, so enough for more than one. Now, question: have the guards that are with Bartleby, are they all there, or have some of them disappeared off behind the curtain?
Yeah, no, they're all round the table with Bartleby.
Okay. Well, in that case, Hengist will order the flagon of wine to that table, and then he's going to go up to Bartleby and the guards, and he will say, Bartleby, didn't know you were going to be here tonight."
Right, so hang on, before we get into this, because I'm aware of the time, so we want to get everybody in. So you're going to go across to the same table as Bartleby and the guards, yeah?
Yes.
Okay then, so you end over there. Okay then, so Cyrus, the next thing that we need is your invocation roll as you try to take over one of the bouncers, I think you said, outside. Yeah, so let's have your invocation roll first. This is going to take a certain amount of time because of the range, but apart from that, what duration are you actually putting on the spell?
I'm going max duration, so
well, that would be 10 points of 7 points of shaping. Well, you can't. You know, because you're going to have to use. You've only got 7, haven't you? And you're going to have to use. 1 point will be for the power, and then so you can then put 6 points onto them. So it'll be your power times 7 for your duration. But this will make it a lengthy spell cast. That's what it's going to do it. So so we say power times 7. So therefore you start casting your spell. And Hazra, you notice that you've seen Cyrus cast spells before, and his hair blazes flame red. Roll your invocation.
Come on, baby.
Yeah, and you cast the spell, and you immediately swap places with the bouncer on the opposite side, and the bouncer suddenly appears in Cyrus's body, Hazra, as you then try. He sort of like say, you say it in the last part of the spell, and you hear the Cyrus say shenanigans, and he says, "What the?" And could you make a brawn roll, please?
Oh, brawn.
I want to see how tight you tie. He is
size 8. He's like a child. He's here.
Exactly. And so it's not. You are going to tie him. It's just so I have some indication of how much it is. No, it's all right because he's a tiny little child. You're not you're not used to tying up children in any sense, but probably like a little calf. you know, and you
Yeah.
sort of like stick the thing over the bag over his head. Are you tying him to something, or?
Yes, I would like to tie to the most secure item in the room.
Yeah, so the only thing in the room is the bed.
Right. Is it a metal bed or is it a wooden bed?
It's a wooden bed in
it's a wooden
Basil's.
bed.
Made of titanium.
Yeah.
Is it attached to the floor or is it just a loose push around
It's just
bed?
like a small cot. Not a cot, as in a child's cot, a small bed. But you you can tie. Well, yeah, you could put Hazra in it if you wish.
No, Hazra. Cyrus. Yes, I'll pick him up and rock him to sleep.
Okay, so you put this.
I'll put him in the bed and tie him to the bed as best as I can.
Yeah. Okay, so you sort of like.
Would you like a? Yeah.
Hands or across the body, hands and legs spread eagle.
Hands have been tied up already.
Yeah.
So
Hog
behind
ties
his
mother
back.
up.
Yeah.
And he will be tied to either across the bed, round the bed. I'll make him secure.
Yeah, and so
to the best of my ability.
So you're busy tying Cyrus to the bed, and Cyrus, you appear in this rather beefy body, a lot taller than yours, a lot stronger than yours. But good job you brought your own intelligence, because it doesn't have a huge amount of. And you sort of like adjust yourself in the body, and I think I get a willpower roll. Do I not?
Is that because Cyrus has vertigo?
If you wanna.
I do wanna. Of course, I wanna. So what was your thing was 12 out of 63, wasn't it? So I think it's willpower that I have to roll. So here comes my willpower roll of a 22. Now, hang on a minute. This is his willpower, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is power times 2, and I have their power here on their character sheet. So as you can imagine, they're not the most powerful people in the world, and even their willpower is currently 10. So it's not going to win. So, and you zip down into the body, and then you sort of like appear. Hazra, I'll leave you on the map, but you're still up in the room, and we'll leave it there for a 10-minute break. Just as Hazra, do you want to be on the rich side or the poor side?
Who, me? Sorry.
No, sorry, Cyrus. Do you want to be on the rich side or the poor side?
I want to be on the side that's facing the hairy hobgoblin.
No, yeah, there's 2 lines.
Oh. I'll be on the poor side.
Okay, brilliant. So we will take our 10-minute break there. Sorry for the delay in that. So we'll be back in 10 minutes. So yeah, go away, stretch your legs, and we'll be back right real soon. Here we go.
to death because you're all dead. I'm just going to come and red you all.
Red you all up.
Yeah.
Right, we are back live, everyone, and thank you for hanging out and bearing with us doing that. We're all refreshed and eaten. I'm eating some cereal. I've taken to eating cereal out of the little bags, which
some cereal's really nice, like that. Oh God, what's the sugar-coated cornflakes called with the tiger?
Frosties.
Frosties, they're nice like that.
I love, and these are multigrain, and they're really nice. Just to sort of like.
Do you know what I do? I get a big pot of Onken yogurt and I put muesli in it. And that's really nice.
Chatters has said classy. Yeah.
Classy.
You better believe it. Okay.
In a vol-au-vent.
Hazra, we're coming to you first. Because you've tied little...
Wee man.
I need to actually do a Google search for synonyms for tiny, just to see.
I need to draw a picture of him. I really do. I've got a couple of weeks off coming up soon. I'm gonna artistically draw.
Yeah, please do.
This is the twist we all did not see coming.
No, because I didn't envision you as being 3'2".
No.
We decided on just above 5 foot. Just above 5 foot.
5 foot. Are you? Sorry. Are you actually 5'1" tall?
I would like to be higher, but as GM, you have the running say. So
that's the maximum you can be for your size.
Yeah, that's wide, but you're 12 foot.
You can slide through the floorboard.
Somebody get Cyrus and fall down again.
If there's a stiff breeze, that's it.
He is too deep.
Right.
Oh no! Stop it!
Let me just make your character.
The thing is, Captain Kangaroo, you make your character sound so huge and big and like, what? I'm here. I'm a presence. And then you like that grumpy dwarf.
Yeah. You get asked for ID when you go into the tavern.
No, because they see me so frequently that they don't have to.
So, Hazra, you look out the window and see Cyrus.
How it should be. Yeah.
I initially envisioned him as being just larger than life.
Oh,
I just wonder whether or not you have a really high-pitched, squeaky voice as well.
Oh, yeah!
Are you?
I'm gonna bite your caps off.
Oh,
Sorry.
Cyrus,
I don't think Cyrus sounds like a Monty Python caricature. Right.
Can I just say, to come to Cyrus's defense, this is coming from someone walking around in their pajamas.
Yeah, but it looks mighty fine from up here.
but grown-up pajamas.
Big boy pajamas.
Not a baby grow.
Charmanders.
Wandering around in a onesie.
Mine's got sides and things, you know. Yours has got teddy bears.
Yeah. So, Hazra, you've tied this little Cyrus.
Stop so little.
You've tied Cyrus to the bed, and what's going to be your action now?
Dress him up in a doll's outfit. No. Oh gosh, that'd be so funny. Hi, wake up, Cyrus. My actions now are to do as not ordered but told. He will pick up his semantic. He'll pick up his brace of pheasants and his rabbits, and he will go downstairs to Basil, and he'll say, Basil, don't go up to the room we were in. There's something, we are trying to save your business here. So Cyrus is doing something magical and things, so do not disturb him, please.
Well, I hope he won't make a mess in there after freshly mopped that this morning.
It looks very good, Basil. I'm very proud.
Well, thank you, Master Hazra. I used a clean mop. Well, it was clean a few weeks ago, but it still didn't smell much.
If it does what you need it to do, why bother? You know it's fine.
Exactly.
So I'm going across the road now to help out my friends. I'll be back.
You're going to the Sniffling Boar?
Yes, we are going to destroy the Sniffling Boar.
With that product?
Bear with me. It's a whole thing of getting in there.
Oh, I see, Mr. Hazra. It's
A bit of
poisoned.
stealthy.
It's
No,
poisoned,
no.
isn't it?
You know I would never do that.
No, of course you would never do that, Mr. Hazra. Of course, yeah, you would never do that.
Azra seen that he's going to be in a circular thing here. He's going to go, yes, Basil, and I will see you soon, my friend. Just do not disturb Cyrus upstairs.
No,
If he comes downstairs while we are gone, or while I am gone, and he sounds very strange, then please subdue him.
I will send
get
him
back.
straight up to bed without his supper. I'll
Yes,
tell
and-
you, and that he'll be
and
up there
subdue him
straight
too.
away.
If he comes downstairs, hit him with a you have your cudgel behind the bar, don't you?
Well, I'll just hold my hand out on his head and let him...
Yes, I mean you can do that, you know. Maybe slap his bottom and then get back to his room.
Yeah. I've just had a vision that this glaive is a child's glaive. It's like a hobby horse with a stick on.
Oh, it's a switch glaive.
So Hazra goes across, and yeah, you go up to the two bouncers at the front of the door. One of which, of course, is you, Cyrus, looking mighty tall and very high up, and one's just this other person. So what's going to happen as Hazra approaches you?
Oi, you out there. You're late. Get inside now. The boss is waiting for you.
I'm sorry, my friend. I brought these meats to show for people to eat.
Yeah, I get it. Go inside.
Sorry, Cyrus, just to let you know, the body that you're in, he's actually Irish.
Irish. Sure,
Are you sure?
Are you sure now, mate? I don't know. Are you sure?
That's
All
you gotta.
right. All right. Get inside now.
So Azra will nod and he'll move inside.
Yeah, and the other guy turns around to you, Hazra, and says, to you, Cyrus, sorry, and says, well, what are you letting him in?
He's going to be a client.
Oh,
Going to help us with our food problem.
we have a food problem?
It's going to happen. The boss already knows about it. Just let him in.
Well, he says, well, on your head be it, you know what he said about those, especially that one, but, you know, on your head be it.
Just let him in.
So Hazra, you step into the Sniffling Boar, and as I described it before, it's a hive of activity. There's laughter, there's music playing, everything's joyous, there's barmaids being slapped on the booty and laughing, and everybody's having a wonderful time. And sure as you walk in with your game, somebody, one of the barmaids comes up to you and says, oh, look what we have here. I see you were wearing your meat round your neck. Oh, come to the bar, kind sir.
My dear, I'm here on business. I've been told to bring this meat in here to show to your kitchen.
Oh, what did you call me?
No, you need to show me to your kitchen, please.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, at least she sort of like looks over at the several barmen behind serving beers. There seem to be about 3, maybe 4 of them serving all the time, and that sort of like gives you an impression of how much ale is sort of like going out. And they actually have the casks on the back that have been tapped with the tap, so it's coming straight out and just filling it up. And one of them, she sort of says, oh, this young man with his meat around his neck would like to see the cook? And somebody says, oh, yes, send him round the back. Take him, Mabel. Mabel, take him. Oh, come with me, kind sir. I know just where you can put that meat of yours around here. And she sort of like links her arm inside yours, and so as if you're promenading around the bar, and she sort of like leads you off, and then just down to, can you see these different color curtains here? That's where Hazra, you get taken into the kitchens beyond, and when you go into the kitchens, it's a hive of activity as well. You know, there's hogs being roasted, there's various quails, there's meat, there's lamb or calf or oxen done in that wonderful way where it's still seeping blood in the middle. You know, still raw, that you can hear it still bleating in the background. And there seems to be a huge amount of activity here. You've never seen it. You know, you have never seen being food produced like this. It's even busier than one of the noble houses. Not that you would be in a noble house. And there's fresh fruit, there's bread, there's loads of bread coming out the ovens all the time, fresh. And there's that wonderful aromatic smell of cooked food and barmaids coming in and out.
Just a quick question on this. Having been across the road from this place for a while, have we seen wagons pulling up with food?
No.
No. Well, this is something I meant to ask during the week, to be fair. But yeah, because
from your advantage point in the Hairy Hobgoblin, if you remember, the entrance is round the back where Hengist went last time.
Yeah.
So it could be that they could be arrived there, but you're right in your assumption. There seems to be a huge amount of food and ale. Yeah, sorry. The chatters have said, sorry, remind me again why we are against this place.
I know, I'm just thinking, can't we just move here? No. It's Sniffer.
Never.
Hazra, while he's walking through, is casting his mind back and thinking, well, Sniffer uses sewers. Could he be bringing things in through the sewers and up into the building?
It could well be. And you will know that the Hairy Hobgoblin does have a cellar. And, you know, Hengist has probably spoken about his first adventures here when they actually found tunnels leading from the basement into some kind of complex of raw, rough-cut tunnels. It wasn't into the sewers. It was more into sort of like an underground complex of caves, which could, of course, have been used for smuggling or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's leave you in the kitchen and zip over to Bartleby and wind clock back slightly. And Bartleby, you're sat there with the guards having a wonderful time, and along comes Hengist and joins you at the table. Well, you come across Hengist. What would you like to do when you get there?
So Hengist he's ordered a couple of flagons of really nice wine, and he will walk up to the table and go, "Ah, Bartleby, I didn't know you're coming tonight. Who are your friends?"
Do you wish to say...
Yeah, I don't know their names offhand, but Bartleby probably should. He's friends with them.
That was the best acting ever from Hengist. Hello, Bartleby. What are you doing?
I'm experimenting. Remember, Hengist has a charisma of 4.
And then Bartleby did some wonderful acting back.
Bartleby would want to introduce them. Yes, these are my friends. I promised to meet them here. I didn't know you'd be here tonight.
Okay then. So Hengist,
No,
what
it's
is
a
your
coincidence.
Hengist?
I
What
have ordered wine. May I join you?
is your plan to try to convince them to let you join them.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So
Yeah, he wants to join
you
them, and
need
he's
to
going to be lubricating that with flagons
yeah.
of very nice
So
wine.
you need to make an influence roll, but just because I mean the guards know about you, and you don't have a very good rep with them at all. So they, as you approach, even with your options for lubricant for their throats, you sort of like come out and you can see that Bartleby, you sort of like see Hengist there, and you notice that the general feeling around the table almost like changes. As Hengist stands there in his finery, his posh clothes, and and Hengist tries to influence the guards to sort of like change his mind. Yeah, so go for it. Roll away.
Hengist is going to use his point of luck. He's trying very hard. He wants to. He wants to make a very good impression on the guards.
And so are you going to reverse it so it's a 0?
I'm reversing that, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to let
great.
you know, your the difficulty of the roll was increased to a hard because the guards don't really like you, and you sort of like come along, and you think it's probably the more about the beer that you've brought with them, and what one sort of like turns to you and says, well, you can I'm just wondering what's in the middle of your table. I think it's half a shank of lamb or something, and one of them says, well, you can leave the beer on the table. And one of them turns to you, Bartleby. You hear this, Hengist. They're doing this classic talking about you but pretending you're not there. And one of them leans over to you, probably the one that is sort of like sat next to you, Bartleby, so it leads and sort of like says, he's a bit of a weird one. I would watch this one. No sense of duty at all.
It makes me wonder. Bartleby's probably drank at least half of his mug. He's not trying to chug it down, but in the spirit of friendliness, he kind of muses out loud to them mostly. I wonder who here has the greater fortitude of being able to drink and party? I mean, guards surely should be pretty strong at it. What about you, Hengist, up there on the mountain?
Are you inciting a drinking competition? Is that what?
Poorly, yes.
Okay then, so you can roll your influence, but you can augment it with your oratory roll. Since you've got the silver tongue of a priest.
I think that's the language to speak to them. Let's see, influence with that.
It's 45 till.
I don't know. Why have you rolled your insight just out of interest?
Oh, no, that's my bad. I picked the wrong one. It's right next to influence. Influence is actually better. Let's see, here is my influence. I think Amriel's trying to tell me something here.
Do you wish to look it?
Come on, buddy. Use that luck.
I don't. Oh, this is a bad idea. This was a bad idea from the start. I shouldn't have had half that beer. I'm gonna use a point of luck. See what happens. I was told to make a distraction. Amriel will punish me later, I guess.
And you sort of like go off on one, sort of like influencing, using your powers of oratory and almost like making it into almost like a mini sermon about the goodness of accepting others, and don't look gift horses in the mouth, and drinks will be a good thing, and they sort of like say, oh, well, you can sit down, but we're not going to like it. and Hengist sort of like in all his finery sits down at the table, and did he not add 11% to his?
Oh, I did.
No.
My influence is normally a 56.
Oh,
All
sorry.
right, so that's all right. Yeah.
But I appreciate looking out for me.
Yeah. And they sort of like you're in that they almost like the guards seem to accept you to sit at the table, Hengist, but they don't seem to be engaging you in conversation or offering you drinks, and the guards seem to be incredibly interested in you, Bartleby. So Bartleby, have you ever do you know what I mean, or does the order prevent that?
Bartleby, riding his oratory high there, is gonna go off on a sad, tear-filled story about when he wore a mask and had a long-lost love, and it seems Amriel, to answer their question at the end of the story, did not think that love was in my path.
Oh, I've got tears in my eyes, Bartleby. Just roll your oratory just to see how good of a storyteller you are on half a pint of lager. Oh, yeah. Oh, Bartleby, I've got tears. You're moving me, Bartleby. You're moving us. And they all sort of like laugh and sort of like say, don't worry, we can probably find you a nice partner without having to wear a mask. As long as you pay her, another guard shouts, and they all sort of like laugh there. And yeah, things are going well. And so we'll cut across to Cyrus, who's on bouncer duty. This guy is about 6'3", 6'4". He's broad. He's definitely triangular shape. He's got massive shoulders, bulging biceps, rippling pectorals, and then down to a nice slim waist. And you're feeling the what it's like to suddenly almost like look down on people, and you suddenly get the feeling that this is sort of like what it's like for normal sized people in Lindo. And yeah, what would you like to do?
I'm going to play along with letting people in slowly by trickling in, but eventually I'm going to convince the other bouncer to hold both lines while I go and take care of a problem inside.
Yeah, okay then. So, and you sort of like, you get into the habit of what happens. They let 3 or 4, 5 people in from the rich end, and then you get to let one person in from the poor end, and so it continues. So yeah, so make your influence roll to actually move to convince the person to let you actually move across. Yeah, and he's sort of like quite amazed at what you say, and he sort of like says, he looks slightly puzzled because there's various words that you've used that he's sort of like thinking, I have no idea what that actually means, because of course you've still got your mental prowess and your skills that you have, and you sort of say, right, or yeah, or yeah, and you make
Go inside, right?
yeah, to wet your whistle or something like that, or and you sort of like step into the Sniffling Boar as everything is going full blaze. So you can see over in the corner, Bartleby is holding court in front of all these guards, and he's talking and everybody's laughing and joking and patting him on the back, and they seem to be trying to encourage Bartleby to do a drinking game called Chug It. And they're sort of like trying to get him to do it. Just roll your willpower, Bartleby. And this will be a hard roll because you've had some alcohol in you. And this is mighty fine stuff that is they're drinking. Yeah, and you managed to dissuade them, or dissuade yourself to actually start this chugging game of drinking whole flagons of ale and mead, and you sort of like managed to persuade them not to, but you started to add your angelic voice to the various guard songs that they're singing along at, that you have to go whoa, 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 and they're sort of like getting drunker and drunker. And Hengist, you're the sort of like sat there drinking your ale, looking mighty fine, and yeah, they seem to be having quite a good time without you. Hazra, you're in the kitchen. What's going to be your plan?
My plan is to find the person who's dealing with the meats, and to say, "Hello, my friend. I was told to bring these to you to see if they are good enough for your wares, for your tables."
And there seems to be all the cooks in this place seem to be bustly old women, and she sort of like says, "Are you selling or giving?"
Well, I was going to give to see if they were okay for your service.
And sure, she saying give. She sort of like grabs them and goes, and she sort of like goes, and she sort of like snaps the neck of the rabbit and digs her finger in it and goes, "Smells fresh."
They are fresh. I cut them not more than hours ago.
Yeah, well, if you go over there, somebody will give you some dry bread and cheese. Let me get these skinned. And she takes them over to a butcher's block and she whacks down the rabbit and takes a cleaver and goes, "Yah!" like that, and the head just sort of like rolls off onto the floor. And there's little sort of like young women, young girls and young boys about the size of Cyrus running around the place, picking things up and moving things around and sort of like cleaning the floor, running straight underneath tables, stood up. Yeah, just going back. Don't worry, Cyrus. It'll grow old in a year or two. Don't worry. I'll move on.
I want to be a real boy.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully the Americans know about Pinocchio, otherwise we just lost it.
We put it together.
They've got the adult Pinocchio. Lie, Pinocchio, lie!
I think I might actually give luck points away in the future for size jokes.
Hey.
Okay then, so she sort of like takes the meat off you. Yeah, what would you like to do?
So after she texts me and says, "You remind me of my mother. If you'd like more, I will bring you more."
Oh, don't you get fresh with me? Well, if I'll have to run it past the boss. Where can I get in touch with you, farmer?
Yes, I will leave my details with. I've got a friend, Bartleby. He'll be able to. If you leave anything with him, he's priest of Harmony-Leigh.
Well, who the F is he?
He's outside there. Look, you can find him. Everybody knows Bartleby.
Oh.
Everybody knows Bartleby.
That one side of the table with his rather pimpish-looking friend.
Yes, and the guards too.
Yeah, well, you have to watch the hands of the guards, I tell you.
Yes,
They're not always on the hilts of their swords, I tell you.
No, but they are always looking for a hot treasure.
Well, yeah. They won't find one here, I tell you. They get a slap across the face if their hands wander anywhere near my hot treasure, I tell you.
I understand. I live by myself, so I totally understand.
Well, I'm sure we could sort that out if you've got a few hours to spare. And she sort of like straightens her shoulders and looks up and lifts up the cloth that she's holding to cover the huge mole on her face. I'm sure we can get down to something, my dear.
Mole. No.
And she opens her mouth and there's this fresh smell of dried blood and fish guts that comes out here.
Oh, lovely. But perhaps we see how this business goes here, and you never know.
I tell you what, let's take this Mr. Bartleby out of the equation. Why don't you come round tomorrow night when I'm busy serving and cooking, and we can have a quiet chat about your... And she sort of like looks you up and down and says, "Your produce."
I can bear that in mind, perhaps. Yes.
Well, go.
Maybe. Will you speak to your boss first and tell him what's what?
Well,
and then-
he trusts me if I give him the say-so, you know what I mean?
Ah, really? Okay. Well, I will go and thank you for your help. I will go and speak to
What-
Mr.
one of the-
Bartleby, so he's not in the equation.
One of the other cooks, a male cook, sort of like hears this and he sort of like goes over, Mabel, I don't think you're as fond. I don't think Chris is as fond as you think. Oh, shut your trap! I tell you, he loves me. I mean, who couldn't love this? Are you leaving the kitchen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But in a nice sort of relaxed and
Yeah, and she, as you pass through into the bar, she sort of like says, "See you tomorrow, Dan." Oh, he's a hot one, isn't he? Yeah. And then they sort of like you go out and you see Cyrus coming in. Bartleby is singing along with the guards. Hengist is looking very prim and proper sat on with his. I always imagine that everybody's drinking out of tankards, and Hengist has got like a little sherry glass.
little sherry.
He's going,
Don't forget your finger.
yeah, and so you're all in the Sniffling Boar at the moment. So what's exactly the plan?
So my plan. I'm going to approach the barkeeps and I'm going to suggest to them that since the lines are getting so big, we need to give a big discount on drinks so that more people get drunk and eventually go home. We let more people in.
Yeah, so you go over to the barman and you start to speak and you suddenly realise that this is not your eloquent self that you have, and your voice has dropped several octaves, and you know, and they sort of like one of them sort of like turns around who looks to be a little bit more senior than the rest, and sort of like shouts at you quite not nastily but abruptly, and so I said, "You do your job, get out there, or I tell you, I am reporting you to him. Get out and do your job." Well, you know what happened.
We need to give these people more drunk so that way they eventually leave.
Well, you know what happened to the last person who came up with ideas above his station?
No, I don't. I don't remember too much.
Well, let's just say you've got his job.
Oh, then why would I remember?
Yeah, so go out. Get outside and do your job.
All right.
And he sort of like goes out and busies round, and you all get this feeling that the whole place is bustling and is effectively managed. And Cyrus, can you just roll a perception check for me, please? Yeah, and you, as you turn round to go out, you notice that in the far corner, up here, if you can see where I'm pinging, you see two very familiar faces. Because Melanie is there with your mentor, Goshawk, and they're there. They're smiling, they're laughing, they've got the table to themselves, or they're just in a little corner and they're busy. And you just sort of like see them out of the corner of your eye, and you sort of like go along to the doorway, and as you sort of like, you're sort of like looking at them, and as you come in, somebody sort of like pushes it into you or bumps into it. It seems to be a noble and his lady friend, and he sort of like says, "Oh, please move out the way. Good grief, these," actually he turns to his lady friend and says, "These bouncers, you know, I don't think they have a brain at all, or their brain is somewhere in their biceps. Move!" And
"Boy, move out my way, you little men."
"You cannot talk to me like that. I am a paying guest."
Yeah, for now. My accent's changing all over the place.
It's all right. I'm just going with it.
I
Going a
can't
bit
decide. Do I
Arnie
want
now.
to be Scottish, Austrian?
Get to the chopper!
Do you know what
Back to the
accents?
top now.
Yeah, they're a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Now. To the pumps. All right. All right.
What does Cyrus want to do?
Cyrus will probably maintain. Actually, I want to look back at the bar. Do I see a tray full of glasses that are about to be?
Yeah, I mean, everything's sort of like coming backwards and forwards. So if you want to grab something and do it without being, without sort of like being seen to take it, if that's the plan, then I'm going to ask you to roll your stealth roll. To make sure you can take it without being noticed. Are you getting out the way of these two noble people?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see, you sort of like move away, and the gentleman says to the lady, "Oh, I have a way with these ruffians, you know. I once hit one so hard he didn't get up for weeks." And she sort of like takes her over, and they sit down, and one of the barmaids says, "Oh, good morning, Oliver. Good evening, Oliver. And I see you brought your lovely wife again. Same arrangement as last time." And the wife goes, and Oliver says, "Oh, yes, but let's get some drinks in first." Yeah, roll your stealth roll. Go for it. Let's see how stealthy. And Cyrus, you suddenly can see over the bar. You did. Yeah, no, you're not.
I'm gonna use my luck to re-roll this.
All right.
This is not gonna be good. All right.
It could do. See, this would have been a perfect opportunity for somebody to donate bits or coinage to give you a free roll that would actually work. But anyway, so you go and reach out for a tray to take it that you think is available, and as you pull it, you notice it gets pulled back, and you suddenly look around and you sort of like see there's a barmaid holding on to one side of the tray, and you've got hold of the other side of it.
This is supposed to go across to over there.
She says, "I can do my job. You get outside and man the doors, hunking lump of lard." And she sort of like tugs it off you and sort of like battles off. Yeah. Can somebody give me an idea of what we're hoping to achieve? Because I can just role play out barmaids and everything.
All day long. All right. So I don't know what you guys' plan is. My plan is.
I think they're all relying on you.
The plan was to get inside.
Am I the plan?
Well done, you.
Mission complete. Let's go.
We did it. We made it inside.
Yeah, and I've got more business.
Yes.
All right. So the plan is, I want to get everyone as drunk as possible, so that way they're more inclined to start a giant bar fight. And then I will help us make that bar fight a possibility. But I want to everyone's as much as possible, everyone's ability to control themselves as limited as possible.
Yeah, you don't even need to try to help that happen. That seems to be the purpose of the tavern in any case. So, yeah, Hasra, what?
I was going to wonder if I could have a wander around and see how far I can get around this place. Just I'll go to the bar, I'll get a drink, and I will just literally just wander around. And are the stairs go upstairs?
So the stairs go upstairs to the first floor. So as you're wandering around, if you're successful, what are you trying to achieve? What do you want to see?
Literally just looking at the place and trying to map it out in a sense, using my skills. And to be fair, I will be at a disadvantage here, but trying to, well, maybe not, because I do have that awareness of direction, if you know what I mean. And trying to go, right, this goes here and that goes there. And I just want to try and map out in my mind of where things are and where Sniffer could possibly be. Because that is the main thing.
So are you looking for a possibility.
Maybe an office, or maybe going down the basement and seeing if there's anything around there. But just having a general wander around and looking for things.
Okay, then.
Do you know what I mean? That's a bit vague, but you've got it, that kind of fake meandering around.
And Bartleby and Hengist, what is your plan? Bartleby, you're just going to have to, like Cyrus, make a willpower check every now and again to resist the urge of getting quite merry in this place. But what, Hengist and Bartleby, do you have a plan, or is the plan just to sit here and enjoy?
I mean, I've been hearing about the Cyrus plan. I was told to be a distraction, but...
Please dance on the table. Please, you have a dancing skill.
Start playing some club music. Like,
I don't.
Wear your robe. Wear your robe. Go toga.
Toga. No longer. My dancing days are behind me.
Oh, please.
Not tonight, everybody.
So what's the distraction that you're going to cause?
I guess I've just been trying to use my orator to tell tales to get everybody's attention, but struggling to do anything like make a fight break out. Bartleby's not really
I think you're entertaining your table, but you're not really making a distraction at the moment because there's nobody else who's actually paying attention to you apart from the guards around the table. But something like dancing on the table would certainly gain the attention, or something.
Or maybe just standing up and going, "People, I have a tale to tell."
Sort of like standing up and making yourself known.
Yeah.
On the table would be better.
Yes, but I'm an initiate of the faith, and I'm trying to get my reputation up, and I don't feel the tales of Bartleby being spotted in a bar dancing on a table would do well for rising to an acolyte level.
Didn't you see like your higher ups here partying?
Well, they're allowed to party, but that's because it's a double standard.
Is it though, or maybe they're where they're at because they know how to party?
Can't Cyrus just shout something like, "Oh, the man at the back said everyone attack"?
No, I have an idea.
Okay, then. So before we hear your idea, Cyrus, so Hazra, you're going to mingle and try to keep an eye out to see whether or not there's any other rooms, etc., where Sniffer could be hiding. And Bartleby and Hengist are you just going to continue at the table, or are you going to do something else?
So Hengist's original plan was slightly sidetracked when he saw Bartleby and the guards, because he saw an opportunity to try and get a little bit more of a reputation with the guards, but it's sort of falling flat at the moment. But the idea was
the mission.
Yeah, that's what I was
Screw it.
It's a social
long as you're all right, Jack. You know what I'm saying?
He would still be doing his main mission, but it was more to like, whilst he was there, to get a bit of more reputation with the guards by buying them drinks and trying to chat to them, but it's kind of falling flat. So he will feign to go to the whatever the privy is here, or whatever the equivalent is, and then he'll go and join another table, and he wants to be talking and listening to some of the other rich folk and engage in conversation with them to see what's happening, but he wants to keep an eye out for what happens when they leave, or if they're starting to behave oddly apart from being drunk, because Harmony-Leigh was here last night and now she's dying. So
okay, then. So if you
something that might cause that,
so you decide which table you would like to go and sit on.
I guess we'll go and sit on that.
Okay, then, and then.
But he won't be sitting there. He'll try and sit there if possible.
Yeah, that's absolutely
so
fine.
Keep an eye out of everything.
Yeah. So, and are you going to engage in conversation, or are you just?
He'll be engaged in conversation with the fellow noble people sitting around him at the table.
And are you going to try to steer the conversation?
So he'll be talking. Yeah, he'll be talking about, have you been here before?
Okay, then. So which
do you know people who've been here before?
So and to what aim? What information do you want from steering the conversation?
He wants to know if anybody's if any of their acquaintances have become unwell after
Okay,
being
then.
here, because he's heard a rumor that some people have been.
Yeah.
And he's
Okay then.
a little bit
So
worried about that.
you're going to go off and do that, and then Bartleby, what are you going to do?
Well, the guards had told me that they could get a meeting with the owner here. So I guess if I can steer conversation now that I've told stories and everything, since I don't seem to want to do a distraction. I'd like to see if I can get more information about their relationship, the guards as a whole, their relationship with the owner of this establishment.
Okay then. So this is, and then so let's do that. Let's get these out of the way. Then Cyrus, we'll come back to your inciting a barroom brawl in 1 second. So first of all, Hazra, just roll your stealth skill for me.
Certainly.
And I just want to see how well you move around and mingle as the people say, you're ready to mingle. And yeah, you sort of
Like a leaf in the wind.
Yeah, you're walking around this place, and this is not your usual terrain, and you sort of like keep bumping into people left, right, and centre as you go around. Would you like to put your token where you would like to end up after you've been on? So then I can give you the information, but we know where you're going to end up at.
I'm getting up at the bottom of the stairs, ready to go upstairs, but I'll like do a wander around the room and sort of like. So basically, I want to come from the kitchen. Can you see my token move?
Yeah.
So I want to go around here and just have a little wander around there, and then end up there.
Okay. So just roll your perception skill, but this is going to be hard because you're obviously not out in the wilderness, and there's a bit of noise and everything. Okay, so there's several pieces of information that you actually gain. Once you've walked around, you were trying to figure out where the access to the basement of the cellar that like in the Hairy Hobgoblin, and you do remember seeing an open trapdoor with a set of stairs going down in the kitchen. It was actually open, and you could, the stairs seemed to go, and the reason that it caught your attention was somebody came up it carrying some produce of some description. You figured that there seemed to be no other exits from the room, so you would appear that the kitchen is the back of the building, and then these are the 4 walls. But as you have gathered, by the time you get to the foot of the stairs, there seems to be a worn staircase going up there. Every now and again, people come, partners come up and down, and laughing and giggling, and or they go up laughing and giggling and come back down, and you can see that there's some kind of exchange of coinage, and you've heard of these places if you remember when you ported over the opposite side of the world. So you are aware that this seems very much like that, one of these houses that townfolk indulges in sexual acts up the stairs in bedrooms and pay for services.
Up the stairs?
Yeah, and so Hengist, make your influence roll for me as you try to steer the conversation round to something. Hengist is on a roll tonight, and they sort of like laugh and joke with you, and they say that nobody ever gets ill. This is the best food and produce ever, and it's really good, and they haven't heard of anybody ever that has actually got ill. They say the worst thing that anybody's got is dreadful indigestion from the richness and the good quality of the food, and they sort of like laugh and joke and say, and you're with nobles at the moment rather than the poor, because otherwise it would be hardly possible for you to talk to them. But they sort of like say, oh, I've asked the cook here, I've sent my cook down to get the recipe for their pork in orange sauce, which is absolutely dear. And they sort of say, have you had the new fish dish? That is quite exquisite. And somebody says, oh, well, I sent my cook down on strict orders, but that cook here, she doesn't let anything out at all. It's all very, very hush-hush what's going on here. And Bartleby, you want to pull the conversation round to talk about the owner, I think it was, yeah?
Yeah, and I wanted to know more about how their relationship with the owner came to be. I don't trust Sniffer, but I'm not going to say Sniffer. And you said influence?
Yes, influence, please. Now, Hengist has made a good job of it. Oh, and you make a good job of it. And they're very sort of like friendly, and they're laughing and joking and everything. And they start to tell you about this man, this very special man, this very handsome man, this very elegant man, and they talk about having looks like him and having his good fortune to be blessed in so many areas, and the wonderful stories that they've heard of his prowess, not only his good looks but everything else that's happening. And they even pull over a barmaid and say, oh, Bartleby's interested, and she goes, oh, best person around. And it suddenly becomes, you become aware that they keep referring to this owner as Christoph, and they keep, it's not Sniffer that they keep saying Christoph. And sometimes they call him Chris, sometimes they call him Christoph, but they never call him Sniffer. And you make inquiries. You sort of like say, so does he have like a rat-like nose or sharp feet? And just, oh no. Do you know, if I had looks like him, I would be able to get any lady I want at all. And yeah, and at that moment, we'll zip across to Cyrus. Yes, Cyrus, you're about to incite a barroom brawl. Tell me more.
All right. So the plan is, I know you got these guys over here who are guards who know how to fight, but they've been drinking for a while.
Yeah.
Probably not on top of their game. Is there anyone in like these two tables that seem to be in similar build, similar situation, or are they all upper class?
There's some ruffians. There's no ruffians. There's no slum dwellers. When the townsfolk are sort of like merchants or trade people, and there's plenty. I mean, there's some people not even sat at tables. This place is so packed. There's people. It's like the kitchen in a party when everybody stood around in a house party, and some of them are just stood up drinking, some of them are sat down. So there's
okay. All right, so I have a plan. So first, I'm going to, on these two guards, maybe at least just one of them, I'm going to cast something called Vigor, which is, Vigor makes recipient feel alive and energetic.
Yeah, it's what
So, essentially,
Bartleby casts it on people to restore their fatigue.
Exactly. So this is the do something a little bit more different. I am then going to, at this, if you're seeing this, where I'm pointing at this chair, I'm going to cast Shove on that chair to hit this guy from the back.
Okay then. So let's tell me what your outcome of this, what you're hoping to happen.
I'm hoping that he gets so, because he's so energized and drunk, that he gets so angry that someone decided to hit him with a chair that he will go at the people at this thing. This will cause a commotion as I maybe like throw another like plate or go in myself and start throwing people around to stop them. Causing chaos, and in the end causing like a giant brawl throughout the entire tavern.
Okay, so Vigor requires touch.
Oh, it does. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna approach them and see how they're doing.
Okay then. And is the idea at this point is to cast your spells and touch the one of the soldiers.
Yes.
Okay, then.
I'll pat him on the back. See, how you doing, mate?
Okay, then. So, Bartleby, you see one of the bouncers heading over to your table, and he stands behind one of your guard friends and reaches out and touches him on the shoulder. And then you know this spell, you cast this spell. You know exactly what happened. And the bouncer, because remember, you don't see Cyrus at all, you see the bouncer, you notice that the bouncer is casting vigor on the on one of the guards. So
do I make eye contact with Bartleby?
You can try if you wish.
If Bartleby and I make eye contact, I'm gonna give a wink.
So the bouncer,
the random bouncer guy,
is touching a guard, casting a spell, and winking at you.
Yeah.
What?
I think Bartleby would be more confused than anything, because this isn't a malicious spell. This is a purely good spell.
Yeah.
Amriel would approve of. But also the guards are guards, and they should have the situation under control. So Bartleby's kind of confused and wary, but he's not going to do anything.
Okay, then.
I'm just checking in on you guys, seeing if you're all right. Make sure you're all going to be on your best behavior.
So you need to make your folk magic roll.
Yeah. I'm gonna use my luck point to switch that up. No, I'm gonna have to reroll.
You'll have to re-roll it, yeah.
Yeah, come on, baby, come on. There we go.
Okay, so you cast Vigor on the guy, and Vigor is a beneficial spell. It has no resist, because as Bartleby well knows, it's cast to sort of like make people work harder, remove fatigue, and yeah, this guy seems to be having ample more energy, and actually sort of like turns around to you, Bartleby, and says, well, if you're not going to dance on the table, Bartleby, I will. Imbued with his wonderful new spell, and sort of like jumps quite nicely onto the table, and then starts to do some kind of sailor guard jig, shouting out some kind of sea shanty as he goes. What is dance? Oh, dexterity and charisma. So he's obviously not very seductive in his movements with his actual dancing, but he needs to get. Let me just call up his sheet, because it'll be on here. His dance skill is 22. So he rolls his dice. He gets 43. So he starts to dance, and his foot lands in the barely cooked lamb on the table, and he slips and sort of like comes crashing down, and there's beer and tankards going all over the place, and nothing to do with you, Cyrus, at all, but one of the tankards sort of like flies over and hits somebody else, and that person, this sort of like noble person, sort of like gets up and said, how dare you, you have spoiled my favourite crimson vest, how dare you, I demand that I have that you, what is it called when I demand for...
I demand a jewel.
Yeah, what do they...
I demand for recompense.
Yeah, a recompense for this.
Yes.
I demand satisfaction. That's what I was looking for. I demand satisfaction. A dance-off, yeah. and somebody else gets onto the dance, and they sort of like... And the floor starts to light up. And these...
If I have to, I don't mind using shove on a random chair at a random person to kind of, light things up a bit.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because somebody gets up and then the other guards come to the guards place, and Hazra, you suddenly notice that there's a huge commotion after one side, and Hengist, you notice that, you know, some of your lady friends at your table are sort of like hunkering next to you and say, oh, please, Hengist, please protect us from this bruteness. And there seems to be an almost like fight starting, and just cast your shove spell. Yeah, I'm just interested whether or not you need to lose a magic point from it. So use your folk magic spell. Yeah, so you sort of like shove a chair out the way, and somebody falls over
No,
it.
I want to like essentially. Yeah, or that, I guess that works.
Yeah, because it'll just slide along the floor. It's not telekinesis, so you can't sort of like, yeah, there goes a chair, there goes another chair. You know, it's not like Gene Carey or anything like that. So, you know, so things sort of knock over. And there seems to be a bit of a rumpus going on. Hengist, you've got your lady friends. You're sort of like, protect us, Hengist, please protect us. And you're sort of, stand behind me, ladies. You know, and Bartleby, what are you doing?
Bartleby's trying to stay out of the mess. He's probably like pressing himself up against the wall.
Yeah,
chair pushed back.
And sort of like thinking, oh, good grief.
Oh no, this is getting out of control now.
Yeah, and Hazra, what? You can see this happening. It's a perfect distraction.
I know. Hazra's going to be moving upstairs.
Yeah, okay then. So you go upstairs, and quite naturally there's a bit of a noise down here. So people are coming down the stairs. You know, to sort of like see what's happening, and you sort of like get out of their way as they sort of like come down to see the excitement. And yeah, so everybody is round, and what I would like you all to do is that I need you to do a blind roll for me. Okay, so it should be, if you click on your if you click on your token, there should be a blind roll button, and you need to roll. Thank you. I've got.
Oh, this is
yeah.
That took all the fun out of it.
So just so you know, so I'm just waiting for Cyrus's, and then I'm done.
I didn't do it. Oh, thought I did it.
I did, hang on. No, that's it. Yeah,
Right.
I've got everyone's now. Okay, then let me just check against my notes. That's Hazra 02.
No.
Bartleby 104.
Way.
Okay,
I
then.
got a crit. You didn't.
Okay then. So I am now trusting to your role-playing abilities at this point. Okay, so as this barroom brawl starts, Hazra, you hear this, but don't necessarily see it. Okay, but I'm not going to get you to turn your mic off or anything like that, because
I can do if you want.
No.
I'm a child.
And
like Cyrus.
yeah, and what you notice, two things that you all notice, and Bartleby, I'll tell you what you see a little bit later on, okay? And all of a sudden, everybody seems to stop, because there's a voice, and the voice is quite lyrical. The voice is quite gentle. The voice is quite listenable. And even you, Hazra, up the stairs, hear this voice and think, who the F is that? And you notice that in the, just at the bottom of the stairs, here, is a man. And he sort of like stands there, and he barely raises his voice at all. And he says, gentlemen and ladies. And everybody seems to stop and pay attention to him. And he, Hazra, you hear his voice and think, who is that? And turn around and just sort of like peep around the corner, and then I know that you can see what's actually here. He doesn't know that you're there. And he sort of like says, gentlemen, ladies, there is no need for this. And you notice that everybody stops, and the girls, Hengist, slowly detach themselves from you, and they sort of like look at this man and sort of like smile and blush slightly, and the guards sort of like say, oh yeah, and they help each other up, and the person who had picked up a chair sort of goes, oh yeah, and sort of like puts it down, and somebody sort of like says, no, you take it, and everybody seems to settle down, and the guy turns round to you all and says, please settle down, everyone. We have guests, and we have an important guest. And he gestures over to the door, and you all sort of like look round to see, and everybody's very captivated by this, and even you are captivated by it. And you turn round and you see walking through the door and walking up to the gentleman, and I don't know if you recognize her token, but in walks Harmony-Leigh. She is dressed in the most finest of clothes. She seems to be 100% well. She, if anything, Hengist, you look at her and think she maybe looks even better than what she looked before. Just roll for me. It's just a hard perception roll. Hengist. Yeah,
there you go.
You think she just looks stunning. She literally looks stunning. And you know what sort of character this person is, but you're just amazed. And the guy sort of like turns around and says, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to meet my new partner in crime. May I present to you the lady, Harmony-Leigh. And she sort of like bows gently like this, and there's a faint ripple of applause, and the girls around you, Hengist, says, oh, I wish I could look, to be as good as her. And one of the guards leans over to you, Bartleby, and says, he's just fantastic, isn't he? That's the guy you were asking about. That is the owner of the Sniffling Boar. That's Christoph. And we will leave the adventure there for tonight. Thank you for bearing with us, and with all the disconnections and faulty connections, etc. And yes, we will pick it up from this time and place later on. Bartleby, just before you go tonight, still in the Zoom call, when everybody else leaves, I just want to catch you for a little bit longer, because due to your role, you will see a little piece of information, but I want only you to have it, as in Bartleby, and then that's it. So
someone's staying after class.
So that's how it is.
Yeah, and
Let's bring an apple next week.
And then from there, you actually cut to the hairy hobgoblin, where Basil is cleaning his
like...
thing, and all he can hear upstairs is. And he's sort of like,
it's fine, Hazra's not there, so Hazra,
he's sort of like looks up,
reputation.
and he just goes back to cleaning.
Where did he leave his glaive?
And we will leave it there for this evening. Thank you, everybody who came along tonight to watch this. It's been a wonderful adventure despite the issues with technology, and we've learned so much today. We've learned who the new owner of the Sniffling Boar is. We have found out that Bartleby is not as good as a doctor as what we originally thought, and we have eventually found out how tall Cyrus is, which I think he's been trying to keep a secret for years. But
I don't know what
next time, when you come next week, can you put your webcam so we can just see from your just so like your nose up?
What you guys talking about? What?
And that's it. Thank you so much for coming along and supporting the stream tonight. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as we have. We will be back next week at 7 o'clock for the part 4 of the Mythras Adventures, Mists and Shadows. Until then, it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from them.
Goodbye.
Thank you. See you later. I really do.